Marcus was a 22-year-old guy who lived in a quiet suburb just outside Austin, Texas. Life in his neighborhood was peaceful, tree-lined, and easygoing. But inside Marcus's mind, everything felt heavy, restless, and exhausted. Every morning, when the sun filled his bedroom with warm light, Marcus still felt drained. He slept for long hours, 9, sometimes 10, yet he woke up with a tired mind and a tired body. Sound familiar? You're lying in bed right now, maybe scrolling through this video because you slept 8, 9 hours last night, and you still feel like absolute garbage. While your roommate bounces out of bed ready to hit the gym, you're contemplating if it's socially acceptable to call in sick just because you're tired again. Here's what your nights look like. You finish your remote work, tell yourself you'll just check Twitter for 5 minutes. An hour later, you're deep in some thread about AI taking over the world. Your brain's buzzing with tomorrow's stand-up meeting, that Slack message you forgot to answer, whether your comment in the Zoom call came off wrong. Finally, crawl into bed past midnight, completely fried, but somehow still wired. So you make a deal with yourself. I'll just sleep in tomorrow. I'll catch up. But here's the sick joke. The more you sleep, the worse you feel. 10 hours later, you wake up feeling like you got run over by a delivery truck. It's like your body's trolling you. And this pattern? It's robbing you blind. While your coworker's knocking out morning workouts and side projects, you're just trying to make it to your 10 a.m. without looking like a zombie. That promotion you want? That business idea you've been sitting on? That relationship you keep meaning to work on? They're all on hold because you don't have the energy to chase them. Dreams get postponed. Another day, another week, another year. The American Sleep Association says over 50 million Americans are fighting the same battle. But here's what nobody's telling you. You're fighting the wrong enemy. Because the problem isn't your body. The problem is your mind. Let me tell you what happened to Marcus. 3 months into his first real job at a tech startup in Austin, working 50-hour weeks, and every single morning was a war. 10 hours of sleep still needed 3 alarms and 2 cold showers just to function. One Saturday afternoon, completely defeated, he found himself sitting on a park bench near his apartment complex, head in his hands, actually Googling, "Is chronic fatigue syndrome a real thing?" That's when Robert sat down next to him. Retired economics professor, maybe late 60s, with this presence that just felt calm. Didn't ask permission, just sat down, looked up at the clouds drifting by, and said something that made Marcus's head snap up. "You're young, but you're carrying the weight of someone twice your age." Marcus was stunned. How do you even know that? Robert smiled, the kind of smile that said he'd seen this story 1,000 times. When someone's mind is tired, you can see it in their eyes before they say a word. And just like that, Marcus felt something crack open. Someone actually got it. He didn't hold back, told Robert everything. The endless exhaustion, the hours of sleep that did nothing, feeling stuck while everyone else moved forward. Robert listened without interrupting. Then he picked up a stick and drew a circle in the dirt next to the bench. "This is your mind," he said. "Every single day, you're dumping more into it. Work stress, social media comparisons, things you should have said differently, things you need to do tomorrow. But you never empty it out. You just keep piling it on. And a mind that's completely full, it can't actually rest. Doesn't matter if you're in bed for 8 hours or 12. Marcus leaned in. This was it. So what do I do? How do I actually empty my mind? Robert watched a jogger pass by, then turned back with absolute clarity. 5 minutes, that's all you need. Every night before bed, sit down with a notebook. No phone, no TV, just you and a blank page, and write down 3 things. "What 3 things?" Marcus asked, and you could hear the desperation for an answer in his voice. Robert's eyes had this knowing sparkle. "First thing, Write what you felt today, not what happened, what you felt. Did you feel anxious when your manager pinged you about that bug? Proud when you finally shipped that feature? Frustrated sitting in traffic on I-35? Name the emotion. Actually write it down. Because here's what UCLA researchers discovered. When you label an emotion, you literally calm down your brain's alarm system. It's called affect labeling. Just writing the words, "I felt overwhelmed today," reduces activity in your amygdala. That weight you're carrying around in your chest, it starts to lift. Not because you solved anything, just because you named it. Second thing, write what you learned today. And I don't care how terrible your day was, you learned something. Maybe you learned that back-to-back Zoom meetings destroy your focus. Maybe you learned that your coworker actually appreciated your honesty and stand-up. Maybe you learned you're more resilient than you thought when that deployment crashed. Your brain is desperate for evidence of progress. Show it, even small progress. Third, and this is the most important one, write what you will improve tomorrow. Just one thing, not your entire life. One thing. Tomorrow I'll actually take a lunch break away from my desk. Tomorrow I'll speak up in the team retro. Tomorrow I'll be in bed by 11 p.m. Your mind needs a mission. When it has a clear target for tomorrow, it can finally let go of today. Robert put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. When you empty your thoughts onto that page, your mind becomes light. When your mind becomes light, your sleep becomes pure. And when your sleep is pure, you won't need 10 hours anymore. 6 hours of clear mind sleep beats 10 hours of mental chaos every single time. That night, Marcus did it. Sat at his desk, opened a fresh moleskin notebook, and wrote, "I felt hopeless and broken today. I learned that my exhaustion isn't permanent, it's just a pattern. Tomorrow I will do this ritual again." When he closed that notebook, something weird happened. His shoulders dropped, his jaw unclenched, the buzzing in his head just stopped. First time in months, his mind felt quiet. That night, Marcus slept like he was a kid again. Not 10 hours, not 8, 6.5. But when that alarm went off, something he hadn't felt in over a year happened. His eyes opened before the alarm, not with dread, not with that heavy, "oh God, not again" feeling, with clarity, with actual energy. He sat up, looked at his hands like they belonged to someone else, and just laughed. What the hell just happened? 6.5 hours, and he felt more alive than after 10 hours of his old sleep. Marcus kept going. 5 minutes every night, 3 questions, and every morning the transformation went deeper. His teammates started asking, "Dude, what changed? You're like different." How do you explain that you've cracked a code most people never find? He wasn't sleeping more, he was sleeping better. That side project he'd been putting off, started working on it at 6 a.m. before work because he actually had energy. 3 months later, Marcus went back to that park, hoping to thank Robert. The old professor wasn't there. Some neighbors said they'd seen him around, others had never noticed him. But Marcus didn't need him anymore, because he'd learned the truth. You don't need more sleep, you need a lighter mind. Imagine waking up tomorrow actually excited to get out of bed. Not because you have to, because you're pumped about what you're going to build. Imagine having the energy to finally start that business, write that book, have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Imagine what becomes possible when your mornings stop being a battle and start being your unfair advantage. Tonight, not tomorrow night, tonight, take 5 minutes, grab any notebook, write what you felt today, write what you learned, write what you'll improve tomorrow. Your mind is begging to be freed, and when you free your mind at night, your mornings become the beginning of an entirely new life. 5 minutes tonight, change life tomorrow. Start right now. And if this video just gave you the push you needed, hit that subscribe button, because every single video on this channel is built for who you're becoming, the version of you that wakes up fresh, powerful, and ready to dominate.